conference. She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference.
I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it and hope he shows up.
With plans now set for at least one presidential debate, both campaigns are getting ready for major events here in the West. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to West Coast Wrap. I'm Alex Savage. We expect to see Vice President Kamala Harris arrive in Arizona before the end of the night, and former President Donald Trump heads for Montana tomorrow. Tonight, this is the scene in Phoenix. Barricades up near the Sheraton Hotel downtown. That's where Vice President Harris and her running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, are expected to stay overnight. Tomorrow, they'll hold a rally at Glendale's Desert Diamond Arena. Earlier today, the Democratic ticket held a campaign rally at a United Auto Workers Union Hall in Wayne, Michigan. And we also learned both campaigns have agreed to follow through with a debate on September 10th. That agreement followed former President Trump's refusal to participate. Before leaving Michigan, Vice President Harris spoke to reporters about the attacks from her opponent.
I am beyond trying to speculate about how he thinks. What else?
Can you comment on some of his other criticisms? He made a whole litany of them today. Some of them are about your...
I was too busy talking to voters. I didn't hear them.
Some of the criticism has been about your vice presidential pick and his leaving the National Guard at 24 years. Vance said that he deserted his own troops or his own colleagues. What's your take on that?
Listen, I praise anyone who has presented themselves to serve our country, and I think that we all should.
Madam Vice President, there's been a lot of questions about when you're going to sit down for your first interview since being the nominee. Do you have any update on that?
I've talked to my team. I want us to get an interview scheduled before the end of the month.
Trump, who is, of course, the Republican presidential nominee, held an hours-long news conference today at his home in Florida. Fact-checkers say the former president repeated numerous falsehoods about topics ranging from his crowd sizes to the U.S. Capitol riot and the economy. He attacked Harris for not holding her own news conference since becoming the Democratic nominee.
She's not smart enough to do a news conference. And I'm sorry, we need smart people to lead this country because our country's never been in this danger before, both economically and from an outside perspective. Russia doesn't respect us anymore. China doesn't respect us anymore. And I think
former President Trump said during the news conference that he hopes to debate Harris more than once. Former President Trump's running mate, J.D. Vance, postponed two events in North Carolina today because that state is dealing with the aftermath of Tropical Storm Debbie. J.D. Vance planned to campaign in Raleigh and Oakboro. The campaign has not said when the vice presidential candidate will eventually get to those two cities. Now, here's a look at both campaigns' plans for their visits out west. Tomorrow, former President Trump will hold a rally in Bozeman, Montana. Vice President Harris and Governor Walz will rally voters in Glendale, Arizona. Democrats will take their campaign to Las Vegas on Saturday, and then the vice president heads to San Francisco, where she's expected to attend a fundraiser on Sunday, although the campaign has not confirmed those plans. Newly released body camera video shows police officers confronting the gunman who tried to assassinate former President Trump during a rally last month.
I climbed the wall and I popped my head right in front of him, bro. He's got a book bag, he's got mag, AR laying down.
That footage shows the brief encounter between officers in Butler, Pennsylvania, and the gunman, Thomas Crooks. In the moments before the shooting, officers tried to get onto the roof where Crooks was positioned. Ultimately, he fired toward former President Trump, injuring his ear. The gunfire killed a rally goer and wounded two others. Counter-snipers then shot and killed Crooks. New unemployment numbers are easing fears about the U.S. labor market. The Department of Labor says the number of Americans filing for jobless benefits fell last week, but the figure remains slightly elevated. There were 233,000 initial jobless claims, down from 250,000 the week before and below what economists had expected. On Wall Street today, the better-than-expected jobs report eased worries about the slowing economy. The Dow added 683 points. The Nasdaq was up 464 points at the close, and the S&P also jumped today and finished the session up 119 points. Investors are hoping the Federal Reserve will cut interest rates in September as inflation slows. As KTVU's Tom Vakar tells us, mortgage rates are already falling, and that's giving hope to home buyers who've been priced out of the market.
Mortgage rates now at 6.5%, or more than 1% lower than October of last year, says the Federal Reserve Bank. Other experts say rates will be lower another full percent by year's end. Respected real estate and mortgage website Redfin says that's because lenders expect interest rates to be cut by as much as 0.5% next month.
And they're going to continue to do it next year.
Mortgage broker Rob O'Malley of PreferredRates.com says he can bring recent FHA and VA homeowners into the low sixes or even the high fives right now, with conventional buyers just a tad above that.
40% of 21 to 30-year-old people are still living at home with mom and dad, and they're waiting for this opportunity, waiting for houses to become more affordable.
And, says O'Malley, baby boomer homeowners with low rates or no rates who are looking to sell can downsize, then buy all cash and never have to worry about interest rates again. In comparing last October's rates to now, the monthly payment on a $600,000 loan will have gone from about $4,300 a month down to $3,800. That's more than $500 a month less, giving buyers more buying power.
People are anticipating a rate cut.
Realtor Kathy Shatter says September sales always pick up a bit, especially now with what's on tap.
Because if the rates drop, the demand will go up. So the perfect combination would be to be ready, catch the rate decrease, but not wait for everyone else to do it and to try to buy.
And sellers who have reduced their asking prices will have more buyers to bid on their homes.
So if you're ready to buy or sort of ready, you might be on the sidelines at the moment, hoping for a rate cut and a good price as well.
Of course, many homeowners wanting to keep their lower rates will not sell, but with homes often taking months, not hours or days to sell, ready sellers will likely sell.
If you can lock in the price of your home, that will never change. An interest rate will change, and you can work on that later.
In this market, it's kind of like the balance beam in the Olympics. You have to stay centered, you have to know your limitations, and you have to perform right on time.
If we're renting, we're definitely paying into a wealth plan. It's just not our own.
More rate cuts next year will sweeten the spring selling season. Tom Vakar, KTVU, Fox 2 News.
I think the rebuilding is probably faster than I expected, and I'm pretty optimistic.
1 year after Hawaii's devastating wildfires, the people of Maui are using a special video to tell the stories of survival and recovery. Coming up tonight on West Coast Wrap, their focus as they work to rebuild.
And in weather, here's our live camera in Southern California for Los Angeles. Low clouds already back in the picture. Current temperature in the mid-70s, and we'll have the updated forecast coming up.
Also coming up tonight, a special honor for a school bus driver in Utah. We'll explain why he's being recognized for his skills behind the wheel.
We've been voyaging for over 1,000 years, and so we understand what it is to come through a storm. The canoe made it, but the canoe's broken. The canoe is on these shores of Lahaina, and we're rebuilding this canoe. But for this canoe to set sail again, we have to come up with a sail plan. This sail plan needs to be inclusive. Everybody has to contribute to the success of this canoe's next voyage.
On the 1-year anniversary of Maui's devastating wildfires, that new video posted online by Maui County shows how people in the community are showing strength through a daunting recovery process. Heartache endures across the island as recovery and cleanup continues. Fox's Sean Langell has more tonight on the effort to rebuild homes.
Thursday marks 1 year since the deadly Lahaina wildfire decimated the historic Hawaiian town, wiping out thousands of buildings and claiming more than 100 lives.
The first year was about survival. The second year will be about rebuilding. And there will be thousands of homes built now. These houses are some of the first.
Still, many across the devastated West Maui community say they are struggling to build back. It's estimated about 1,500 households have left for other Hawaiian islands or states on the mainland. Residents are worried more people will be forced to leave due to a lack of affordable and available housing.
When you start to see mass exodus of the people, you start to change the fabric of Hawaii. And that's what's at stake.
The state has been building transitional units and working to change laws to convert short-term vacation properties into long-term rentals. A more than $4 billion settlement to resolve hundreds of wildfire lawsuits has been reached, but work to distribute the funds to help spark more recovery still needs to be done.
We want to see everyone heal, and we know it's going to take so much time.
Debris removal teams, meanwhile, say the work has been fast because of the dedication of the local workforce.
Between 70 and 80% of our labor force come from this island, and so they are vested in this recovery and seeing their Lahaina town have the opportunity to grow back into its former greatness.
Even the town's iconic 151-year-old banyan tree, which had roughly half of its branches die from the fire's heat, continues bouncing back with help from local experts.
Represents the resiliency of the community as a whole.
Sean Angel, Fox News.
And if you would like to support the Maui Strong Recovery Fund, we have made it easy for you to do just that. All you have to do is head to our website, westcoastwrap.com, and that's where you can find a link to the fundraising effort that's ongoing. In Northern California, the arson-caused park fire northeast of Chico has now burned more than 427,000 acres. This fire has been burning for 3 weeks now in Butte, Tehama, Shasta, and Plumas counties. Containment remains at 34%, and the fire has destroyed 640 homes and other buildings. Homeowners affected by a wildfire burning in Colorado could see a tax break. A new report finds 51 homes were damaged or lost in the Alexander Mountain Fire in Larimer County. The fire started last month and it burned more than 9,000 acres. The county assessor has completed a property damage report and found the owners of the damaged or lost homes could see reduced property values, which will reduce taxes as they work to rebuild. Turning now to our weather, and new video posted online shows severe weather, including lightning, returning to some parts of Arizona last night. These images were captured in Sierra Vista near the southern border. Last night's storms followed Tuesday's strong monsoon that caused widespread damage across the Phoenix area. For more, let's bring in KTVU meteorologist Mark Tamayo, who is tracking the potential for more of those monsoon storms tonight in Arizona. And you also have a look at conditions across the west. Hey, Mark.
Hi there, Alex. Yeah, I'm still tracking some thunderstorms tonight in portions of Arizona. In fact, a fairly active radar, as you can see, these storms moving outside of the Tucson area and also just right around the Phoenix area as well as we come in closer. So a lot of activity on the radar for tonight. You can see these linked up with some heavier downpours and some stronger winds as well. We also have a dust storm advisory in place right now, so this could definitely impact visibility or travel out there with that dust storm advisory in place right now. You can see the highs today across the west here. Phoenix 107, Palm Springs not showing up, but I did see 109. Sacramento 96, Redding 104 degrees, and has been heating up in the Pacific Northwest. Portland 94 degrees, even Seattle 87. They have a bit of some haze and even some smoke in the sky right now. The most recent report, they have some smoke for this evening. In San Francisco, you can see some low clouds and fog, temperatures in the lower 60s. And then down in the Southern California area, we actually had some clouds near the coastline. And in Los Angeles today maxed out at 87 degrees. As we check out the current numbers, right now it's 103 degrees in Las Vegas. Reno is 92. Portland still in the lower 90s, and Seattle a warm 83 degrees. Here's the satellite and the radar once again, and we are seeing those showers and thunderstorms develop, especially out toward Colorado, portions of New Mexico, and in Arizona. We have the marine layer clouds just offshore from Southern California and also near the Bay Area, and then some clouds kind of moving into portions of Oregon as well. The heat advisory continues for one more day in Seattle for tomorrow. Temperatures will be in the 80s. We still have some smoky conditions, some haze up in the Pacific Northwest. Thunderstorms really focused out toward Denver and their forecast for tomorrow. It is warm to hot from Southern California out toward the Phoenix area and San Francisco, clearing skies with temperatures, at least in San Francisco, in the 60s, but further inland, we'll have temperatures back up into the lower 90s. Here is the forecast for tomorrow, as you can see here coming up. And Concord in the Bay Area, 92 degrees. Palmdale in Southern California, 106. And Scottsdale in Arizona, forecast high of 106 degrees. So the heat continues. They have the thunderstorms tonight in the Phoenix area, but tomorrow we are expecting more sunshine. And here's what you can expect over the next 3 days. It's warm up in Seattle for tomorrow and into Saturday. Bit of a cool down by Sunday. The San Francisco Bay Area forecast kind of mirrors that as well. Southern California, lots of 80s and triple digits once again, 108 to 111 out in the Phoenix area. It looks like we'll be tracking some more thunderstorms out in Denver for Friday and possibly into the weekend.
All right, you will keep tabs on it. Yeah. Mark, thank you. In Arizona, a 20-year-old woman has been found dead in the Grand Canyon. Authorities discovered her body about 150 feet below a viewpoint at the park. The woman has been identified as Leticia Castillo of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Authorities believe she entered the park sometime over the past weekend. The medical examiner is now investigating how she died. This is the third reported death at the Grand Canyon since last Wednesday. A new center has been set up in Nevada that will work to help children who have been rescued from sex trafficking operations. Fox 5's Sean Dowling spoke to people behind this first-of-its-kind facility in the country who want to transform children from victims to survivors.
St. Jude's Ranch for Children, Christina Vela.
And the truth is, for the young people that will come and call this their home, they've experienced a tremendous amount of trauma in their life.
She hopes the students have a new life here. The goal is to provide students a quality education while they begin their process of healing. That comes in the form of licensed teachers, counselors, and support professionals. Principal Amy Manning wants to make sure her teachers are meeting their students from a place of compassion.
What we're focusing on is trauma-informed instruction. What does sex trafficking look like so they have that background? How do we build relationships and rapport with students, because that's going to be our #1 key focus to helping us be successful.
Manning says it's all about building trust, and she knows it won't come easy, given what these children and teens have been through. The Healing Center will be the first-of-its-kind residential therapeutic center in the country, housing around 60 kids in a nurturing, holistic environment with individual one-story homes in a neighborhood setting. Both Manning and Vela say the unprecedented school has been needed in the community for a long time, and the prevalence of victims who have been sex trafficked in our area is surprising to a lot of people.
I think, ignorance is bliss, and what you don't know until you start to learn, and then it's quite shocking the facts that you learn and see how prevalent it is in our community and across the United States and the nation.
Close to 29,000 children were reported to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children in 2023. The center says 1 in 6 were likely victims of sex trafficking. But Vela wants the victims to know their future doesn't have to be determined by their past.
We want hope to start rising in their lives, that what's happened to them doesn't define them, and that they can start to feel safe enough to dream about a life free from exploitation and abuse.
The Healing Center will be the only residential treatment center in southern Nevada with these specific housing options. Reporting in Boulder City, I'm Sean Dowling. Fox 5 News, local, Las Vegas.
One thing you don't want to do is stop. If you stop, that goes against you. I went in it wanting to have a good time. Winning was a bonus.
Well, it's not exactly a red carpet event, but one Utah school bus driver earned a prestigious award. Coming up tonight, he shows off his skills behind the wheel that earned him a very special honor. Also, big crowds at the San Diego Zoo today for a rare sight. Tonight, how the first pandas to enter the U.S. in decades are putting on quite a show. Disney says starting next month, it plans to crack down on its password sharing restrictions for its streaming service. This means users will no longer be able to share their passwords outside of their households. CEO Bob Iger says they started an initiative back in June, but September is when they plan to launch the crackdown, quote, in earnest. Paid sharing was announced in other countries earlier this year and will be rolled out here in the U.S. in September. Disney's announcement follows a price increase for most of its streaming subscriptions. Now we turn to a competition that's a little like the Oscars for school bus drivers. And this year, one driver in Utah has taken home the top prize. Fox 13's Carrie Cronk had a chance to ride along with him to see why he is getting national recognition.
On day one, I was like, Am I going to drive something this big every day? And years later, here I am.
Meet Jeremy Klung. He's been driving a bus for 12 years.
Pretty much since January of 2012.
And racking up awards for how good he is behind the wheel.
I went in it wanting to have a good time. Winning was a bonus.
After taking first place in district and state,
one thing you don't want to do is stop. If you stop, that goes against you.
Jeremy, who works for the Canyon School District, recently competed in the National School Transportation Association's 50th School Bus Driver International Safety Competition, otherwise known as the rodeo.
This one's a lot more difficult than the rodeos that I did back in 2012 and 2013.
He says he never expected to get this far.
Because I think if you hit the cone, you're out.
In fact, at the moment they'd all been waiting for, at state, he was missing.
If anyone watches it that knows me, they'll know that I'm notorious for being in the bathroom at inopportune times. So when Jeremy said my name as the winner, everyone clapped and applauded, and they started looking around, and he said my name again. And then my mom goes, "He's in the bathroom." Everyone,
yelled that?
yeah, everyone from Canyons just busted out laughing, and that caused everyone else to bust out laughing, and I missed it.
The rodeo was a chance for Jeremy to showcase his expertise in maneuvering a 40-foot bus through tight spaces.
So like on this side, I can see that I'm about an inch from the tip.
Avoiding obstacles and backing up, or parallel parking in the most difficult situations. I tried driving a bus a couple of years ago.
Go back and stop right there. You're in the stall. Neutral.
I was terrible but entertaining, so I'll stick to riding them.
International, it is much more nerve-wracking because you're going up against the best drivers from all across the country that have won their local and state competitions.
And for winning, you got
A plaque.
high five.
So even though sitting under a tent in Texas for 4 hours waiting for my turn to go was brutal, and I would not want to do that again, it was fun. I had a good time.
And that was Fox 13's Kerry Crunk reporting tonight. Klung says he probably won't compete for the award again next year. Finally, tonight, it's California Panda Day. Governor Gavin Newsom made that proclamation today with the public debut of 2 giant pandas at the San Diego Zoo. They arrived earlier this summer from China, and they're the first giant pandas to enter the United States in 21 years. They're at the zoo's Panda Ridge, which opened to visitors today. The governor says the pandas symbolize pride, common humanity, and understanding between the U.S. and China.
This is about exchange. This is about understanding. This is about something much deeper, much richer than just the 2 beautiful pandas we celebrate. It's about celebrating our common humanity. It's about celebrating the things that bind us together.
Another effort is underway to bring pandas to the San Francisco Zoo right now. They could arrive as soon as next year if Mayor London Breed's plans for funding and a new panda enclosure get full support. And before we go tonight, we want to take you back to Arizona here and show you Vice President Kamala Harris arriving on the tarmac in Phoenix. This is part of a multi-day visit to battleground states here in the West, including Arizona and Nevada. Have a great night.